Hey up guys, and welcome to my review of James Gunn's The Suicide Squad. What? Is there something on my face? This is the swag that you sometimes get at movie screenings. I'm just like, yeah, this is why I do my job. Yes, it is better than Suicide Squad, but that really isn't saying much, is it? That was a very small hurdle to jump over. But let's talk about James Gunn's The Suicide Squad. Hey up guys, so today's movie up for discussion is the sequel to the much derided but profitable film Suicide Squad, which came out in 2016. That was directed by David Ayer. Despite pretty much universally panned reviews, that film managed to make enough money for Warner Brothers to give a sequel the green light. So this time they brought in Guardians of the Galaxy director James Gunn to splash a little bit of his James Gunn razzle-dazzle all over it. He added a "the" to the title, and now we have The Suicide Squad. Facts. The plot sees Amanda Waller, once again played by Viola Davis, assemble a team of captive bad guys, which includes Margot Robbie's Harley Quinn, Idris Elba's Bloodsport, John Cena's Peacemaker, and a bunch of others for a mission in Maltese to destroy all traces of a program known as Project Starfish. That's right, you heard me, Project Starfish. Like before, if they're successful in their mission, they get 10 years off their prison sentence, and if not, they die. So it's very much a do or die situation. So what did I think of The Suicide Squad? Well, I had a really fun time watching this film. It's not without its faults, but it is significantly better than the first iteration that we got. Given James Gunn's crude and hyperactive sensibilities, he seemed like a perfect choice to give the Suicide Squad a do-over. He corrects a lot of the issues which I personally had with the first film. This version is more cohesive. The tone is a lot more consistent. The editing is a lot cleaner. It's not stitched together by random pop song needle drops. And it doesn't try to force in a unearned cheesy message about Task Force X being some sort of pseudo Fast and Furious type family, thank God. The dialogue is also less cheesy in this film as well. As for other positives, the CGI is seriously impressive. There's also more emphasis on shooting on locations or on actual sets, which I liked. And the action sequences are shot in a very creative and violent fashion, which I did enjoy. But while James Gunn is a very capable action superhero movie director, he does make the same mistake that David Ayer did in the first film, which is that he focuses more on spectacle than he does on characters or plot. The script, in my humble opinion, could have used a few more rewrites. I mean, it is packed with plenty of off-color humor, but it's also bloated with way too many characters, many of which don't get a whole lot to do. Joel Kinnaman once again returns as commanding officer Rick Flag, but he somehow feels like a passenger in this movie. Like he's just along for the ride with these criminals. He doesn't seem to have that much agency as a commanding officer. Peter Capaldi's nuts and bolts villain thinker is kind of wasted. Like there's not much motivation as to why he got involved in this Project Starfish thing to begin with. And of course, the breakout character of the first Suicide Squad movie, Harley Quinn, played by Margot Robbie, once again does a lot of the heavy lifting in this film, but I did think her character deserved better than a tacked-on subplot about her having this whirlwind romance with this Guatemalan leader guy. I just felt like this feels a little bit unnecessary. Also, it's never made clear why she's all of a sudden back in Amanda Waller's custody. Shouldn't she be off somewhere with her birds of prey? There were a couple new additions to the team which I really did enjoy, like Sylvester Stallone's King Shark. And he's probably like the Suicide Squad equivalent of Groot from Guardians of the Galaxy, you know, a creature who's part of the team, doesn't say a whole lot, but, you know, can be quite lethal when they need to be. Idris Elba does a great job as Bloodsport. Out of all the new characters, he has the most to work with. I enjoyed his bickering banter with John Cena's Peacemaker. There's a lot of dick measuring competition between the two of them, which was quite funny. And also, David Dasmalchian's Polka Dot Man, who has like the lamest superpower in the history of comic books. He's this tormented soul who fires polka dots at people. It's so strange. James Gunn loves a misfit and outcast, and he just feels very much like, you know, a misunderstood outcast. You kind of just want to wrap him up in a blanket and give him a hot chocolate. I really liked him. David S. Machin did a fantastic job as Polka Dot Man. However, the vast majority of all these new characters barely get as much as an introduction, let alone character development. Like, there's a lot of famous faces in this movie that you'll recognize and you'll be happy to see, but they're basically here for a glorified cameo, because why are they here? Mostly to serve as cannon fodder. Yes, the action is more violent and gory in this film. James Gunn takes full advantage of the R rating. We get some absolutely bloody and brutal deaths. And I have to say, it is quite refreshing to see a DCEU film be this violent and graphic and gratuitous. But because there's like no time to get invested in any of the dozens of new characters, none of the deaths actually hit you with any weight. Sure, a bloody surprising death might satisfy you for a moment, but when the movie's over, you don't feel like you've savored any of the deaths because there was no emotionality behind it, because you didn't get to know any of the characters. It's a very bombastic action movie. It's loud and it's got that vibrant James Gunn flair, but it's just a lot of empty noise. So let's ask them 3 questions. Firstly, would I watch this again? Yes, there's definitely enough here to warrant multiple viewings. Can't say that about the first film. It's been, what, 5 years since David Ayer's version came out, and I still haven't given that a second watch. So yes, I would rewatch this. Question 2, do I recommend it for you guys? If you're looking for that big cinematic film to justify going back to the cinema, then yes, The Suicide Squad is worth watching in a cinema. Go check it out. It's audacious, it's daft, it's very violent. You'll have a lot of fun watching it. And third question, what score do I give it out of 10? Yes, it is an improvement on Suicide Squad, but I'm not going to say that James Gunn's The Suicide Squad is the best film in the DCEU. It doesn't even crack my top 20 favorite superhero movies, but like I said, there's a lot of entertainment value to this. It's just, it is still a bit of a chaotic watch. The script could have used a rewrite here or there. And even though it's stylish and colourful and a lot of fun, it is a little bit messy. So I'm going to give The Suicide Squad a score of 6.5 out of 10. But as always, guys, it's just one bloke's opinion. I'd love to hear your thoughts on The Suicide Squad. Whatever you have to say about this movie, let me know in the comment section down below. If you've enjoyed the video, hit that like button. If you want more movie, TV, and Oscars content, don't forget to click subscribe, and if you want to follow me on any of my socials, all those links in that video description down below. And as always, thank you guys so much for watching. For more things related to movies, TV, and popcorn culture, I'm Luke Carefield, and I'll see you next time. Did I in fact hit the camera? I have no idea.